Suddenly all the hair on my back stood up. He could hear and feel the animals behind him. And it wasn't far. Cats were fast travelers. Only the rain slowed him down. He hated getting wet and hid under a tree with his ears behind. When the rain stopped completely, he came out. He walked uncomfortably through the damp grass and often shook his legs. The curious cat saw everything, even without her fussy friend, the dog. He saw the animals of the forest, but they could not see him. When he faced the animal, it turned away from him. He slept in a tree for a little while. He was a smart and fearless traveler. Early in the morning on the second day of the trip, he went to the lake alone to drink water. Suddenly he saw two men with their guns in his lap and a dog by the lake. The man called out to him, but the cat didn't look up. He stuck his pink tongue into the water and drank slowly. Both men, amused by the cat, called again. Finally he looked up, shook each leg, and quietly walked away. The men began to laugh as the proud cat continued its journey behind him. The two dogs were very sad when they traveled without the cat. Dao is Terrier's oldest friend and he misses him. Labradors love cats too. Dao and Bodger were special friends. The two dogs searched for food, but without the cat's help, it didn't work. One day they went near the farm. The young dog didn't want to see anyone, but he was hungry. They crossed the field to steal one of the farmer's chickens. Suddenly they heard an angry cry and saw a man on the other side of the field. A black farm dog was with him. It ran to attack her. The Labrador was a terrible fighter, hungry and weak. He was lying with the farm dog on his back when the brave Bodger jumped on the farm dog's neck. He knocked him out. When the farm dog stood up, the terrier knocked him over again. Then he turned and walked away proudly. The normally very brave farm dog rose to his feet, trembling. His throat was full of blood. He fled to his master. A farmer saw two dogs run across a field with one of his chickens. "Come back," he shouted angrily, but the dog was too far away. After this battle, Bodger felt stronger and braver. That night he caught small animals and had a delicious dinner. Lewis was badly hurt, but he looked happy again. Is it because he felt the west wind? Memories of his hometown came back to him. He knew they were getting closer every day, every hour. The cat chased a Labrador and an old terrier. He knew the way to go. He could clearly smell his friend. But he was starting to get nervous and anxious. Something was wrong. Something bad was chasing him. He walked faster through the forest, looking for blue skies and open country far ahead. Suddenly all the hair on his back stood up. He could hear and feel the animals behind him. And it wasn't far. The cat jumped on a tree and looked down. There was a giant cat moving silently through the forest. And it was so different from ordinary cats like Dao. It is almost twice as tall and heavy, with a short tail and thick legs. His fur is a soft gray with occasional darkening. It had a ferocious face like a killer, much stronger and much faster than Dao. It was Rince. Dao hurriedly climbed to the top of the tree. The lynx heard his voice and suddenly stopped. It looked up and lifted his heavy paws. His fearful eyes burned with anger. The cat looked around nervously, looking for a way out. His tail moved from side to side, making small frightening noises. Then the lynx started climbing the tree towards the cat. The tree made dangerous movements as his heavy body approached. The cat was difficult to cling to. Then the lynx attacked with its big front legs. The cat fought back. The tree shook violently, and the cat fell to the ground. Hearing a lynx land next to him, he quickly got up and ran frantically. Almost immediately he heard a lynx approaching behind him. The cat could not turn around and fight. This was a dangerous enemy, not a stupid bear. When he fled, he knew it was hopeless. Every time a cat climbs a tree, a lynx follows. The tree trembled at its size, and the cat kept falling down. Then he saw a hole in the ground and ran into it. The hole was too small for the lynx to follow. It lay on the ground, staring into the hole with terrible green eyes. However, once the dirt hit my face, it quickly bounced back. The cat's hind legs worked hard to spit the dirt out of the hole. The lynx leaned forward and thought. There was complete silence in the forest. Deep in the hole, The cat waited helplessly in fear. Suddenly, the lynx began pushing the earth around the hole with its huge paws. I couldn't hear the boy behind me. The boy was wearing a bright red jacket and holding a gun. He was hunting, so he walked quietly. Suddenly he saw a wild beast at the entrance of the pit. At about the same time, the lynx saw the boy. It made a terrible noise. When he approached the boy, there was no fear in his angry eyes. Immediately, the boy raised his gun and fired. The lynx turned in the air and fell. It hit the ground and lay dead. The boy shivered as he approached the dead animal. He couldn't forget the mad eyes of the lynx. He looked down at it with a pale face, but he couldn't touch it. The boy's father rushed to his son. Seeing the huge body on the ground and the white face of his son, he suddenly stopped. The man turned the animal over. "Look, son," he said to the boy, smiling. "Look at the hole. That's where you shot." The boy still trembled and smiled. "Son, tie this red cloth to the tree," said his father. "Then it's easy to find. I'll come back later." The boy tied the cloth tightly around the tree and looked down at the lynx again. Then his father and his son went off together and talked excitedly. Hidden cats could hear their voices for a long time. When all was quiet, he emerged from his hiding place into the sun. He was tired and dirty. He didn't even look at the body. He quietly walked around him, sat next to him and began to wash his body from the end of his tail to his nose. Then he continued his journey with his usual calmness and pride. 2 days later, the cat found 2 dogs. He was going down the hill and into the valley, when suddenly he saw his dear golden and white friend crossing a small stream. His cock moved with excitement and he opened his mouth to scream. The 2 dogs immediately stopped and listened to the incredible noise of the valley. The cat jumped onto the rock so he could see it clearly. The young dog barked loudly and hurried across the stream. The old dog followed, and the cat also started running. They met near a small stream and were very excited. The old dog was so happy that he hit the cat twice on the head. The cat ran straight up the tree and fell on the old dog's back. The puppy stood up and wagged its tail slowly. When the old dog got tired and couldn't move, the Labrador walked towards the cat. Dow stood on his hind legs and rested his chocolate front paws on the large dog's neck. That night, the 3 friends were the happiest animals in the world. They were sleeping together under an old tree near the stream. Bodger again held his lovely cat between his legs.